That feeling of stuck at work, eh? Not exactly the stuff of dreams. I mean, if you're dreaming about work, then we've got bigger problems. But hey, we're here, right? Me, you, us, and that nagging little voice in your head whispering, why am I still here? Why does it feel like I'm jogging on the spot while everyone else is sprinting ahead? Yeah, I hear you. Been there, done that. Wrote a passive aggressive email about it. But don't worry, because today's the day we fix it, right? We're going to take this whole career stagnation thing and give it a good old shake. Like one of those snow globes, and then suddenly, boom, clarity, action, progress. Just imagine it now. Your boss actually notices you. Susan from HR stops giving you those weird looks and wait for it. You get promoted. Wild, right? But stay with me. See, career stagnation is real, isn't it? It's like being on a treadmill. Not one of those fancy ones either, no. No. One of those old ones, the clunky things at the back of the gym that smells faintly of regret. You're moving technically, but let's be honest, you're not going anywhere, are you? And look, I know what you're thinking. John, this is all a bit dramatic, isn't it? I mean, come on, it's just work. But mate, trust me, when you're waking up every Monday feeling like it's a bad rerun of the same episode, well, that's not just work anymore. That's a red flag, all right? And the worst part, you might not even know you're stuck. Like, am I stuck? Or is it just me needing a strong coffee and a weekend away from the office politics? Good question. But you already know the answer, don't you? Right, so let's get started. If you're ready to shake off the dust, shake up your career, and maybe, just maybe, get out of this rut, then stick around. This is for you. Let's crack on. Right, so let's talk about the big one, career stagnation, because that sounds dramatic, doesn't it? Like some sort of soap opera twist, but instead of finding out you've got a secret twin, you're stuck in the same job, day after day, year after year. Oh yeah, it's real, all right. More real than a sad sandwich you got for lunch. But here's the thing, yeah, career stagnation. It's like being stuck on a treadmill. Not the fancy gym ones with all the buttons. Oh no, I'm talking about the ones from the 80s, the squeaky belt. You're running, sweating buckets, but the scenery, exactly the same every day. You're moving, but are you actually going anywhere? Nah, mate, you're just there. And let's be honest, no one's cheering you on from the sidelines either. Not even cardio, it's a wasted effort. And here's the kicker, it doesn't happen overnight, does it? No, it creeps up on you. One day you're buzzing with new ideas, ready to take on the world, and the next, well, you just sat there, wondering why your boss still thinks your name's Champ after 3 years. It's John. It's been John since I started. But hey, who's counting, right? Look, career stagnation's a sneaky little thing. It's when you're doing all the right stuff, showing up, ticking the boxes, doing the overtime, but somehow nothing changes. You stop growing, you stop learning, and worst of all, you stopped caring. And if you don't recognise it, mate, trust me, you're in for a long ride on that treadmill of doom. So before you nod off thinking, well, maybe, John, this is just a rough patch, let me tell you this, it's not. It's career quicksand. If you don't start moving, you'll be sinking faster than Steve in accounts when he tried to explain why he missed that deadline. But more on Steve later. All right, now comes the fun part. Let's play a little game of how stuck are you? Don't worry, it's not as depressing as it sounds. Actually, no, it kind of is. But here we go. I'm going to run through 10 signs that you, my friend, might be in career purgatory. And if you start ticking more than five, well, mate, it's time to face the music. You're stuck. And not in a nice warm bath kind of way, more like quicksand. So here's the rundown. Brace yourself. Stop learning. When was the last time you learned something new? If your answer is back when Gangnam Style was a thing, we got a problem. No growth, no future, simple as. Underutilized talent. You're a Ferrari stuck in a school zone, mate. Instead of roaring ahead, you're chugging along at 20 miles an hour, and for what? Filing paperwork. Please. Lack of recognition. You're working hard, grinding every day. And what do you get? Nada. Steve over there spends more time showing off his new mug than doing any actual work, but who gets the credit? Yeah, Steve. Burnout. Now, we're not talking, oh, I could use a nap tired. We're talking bone crushing, mentally exhausted to the core tired. Mind when the sight of your laptop makes you want to curl up in a dark room and pretend you don't exist for a bit. Fear of change. The good old comfort zone. Feels safe, doesn't it? But let me tell you, There's no growth in the comfort zone, and there certainly ain't no comfort in the growth zone. Write that one down. Imposter syndrome. Despite smashing it at work, you've got that nagging feeling that everyone's going behind your back to figure out you're a fraud. Let me tell you, you're not, but it's still holding you back. Lack of career direction. You're a jack of all trades, master of one. One minute you're thinking of becoming the next CEO, and the next minute you're Googling how to raise llamas. Focus, mate, focus. Micromanagement. Every single move watched. It's like you can't make a decision without your boss hovering over your shoulder, checking if you're using the right colour pen. Micromanager is a killer, trust me. Overcommitment. You said yes to everything, didn't you? And now you're busier than a one legged man in a butt kicking competition. But none of it is moving you forward. And finally, financial anxiety. You want to move, you want to take that big leap, but that little voice in your head says, mate, what about the bills? What about the rent? What if you end up living on instant noodles for the next 5 years? And so you stay stuck. Right, so if you've mentally ticked off more than a few of those, you're not just stuck, you're glued down, mate. But don't worry, recognising is half the battle. And hey, I've got the good news for you. I've got a plan to get you unstuck, so stay with me. All right, let's kick things off with a biggie learning. When was the last time you learned something new at work? Go on, think about it. No rush. Was it recently? Or, I don't know, back when Gangnam Style was topping the charts? Be honest. If you're struggling to remember, mate, we got a problem. No learning means no growth, and no growth means you're just stuck. You're like a plant that hasn't seen water in months. Sure, you're standing there, but you're wilting, withering away, doing the same stuff day in, day out, like a robot whose software got stuck in 2012. And here's the thing, when you're not learning, you're not evolving. You're just going through the motions. You might as well be lifting the same weights at the gym every day and wondering why you're not getting any stronger. Because, spoiler, you ain't. And that's exactly what career stagnation looks like. No new skills, no new challenges, just rinse and repeat. Look, it's just not enough to just show up. You've got to be learning, growing, moving forward. If your biggest accomplishment last week was mastering the art of nodding along in meetings, well, mate, it's time to have a rethink of the game plan. So, how do we fix it? Well, simple. Get uncomfortable. Learn something new, even if it's small. Heck, pick up something you've been avoiding, like Excel formulas, or I don't know how to use the printer properly without causing a paper jam. Just do something new. Remember, the moment you stop learning, you stop moving forward. And the last I checked, we're not aiming to be human paperweights, so let's keep it rolling, shall we? Underutilized talent. Now, this one's painful, mate. You've got the skills, big ones. You're like that Ferrari stuck in the school zone, revving your engine. But all you're allowed to do is shuffle along at 20 miles an hour. Don't go too fast, they say, just stay in your lane. And what's your lane? Filing paperwork? Maybe update the world's dullest spreadsheet. Oh yeah, real exciting stuff. It's like asking Picasso to paint a fence. I mean, sure he can do it, but does anyone really want to see that? No. You've got talent, real talent. And what are they having you do? Busy work. Tasks that a chimp could handle with a decent Wi-Fi connection. You know you're capable of more. You've got that fire in your belly, that creative spark. But every time you try to show it, someone's like, oh, maybe next time. Just stick to the basics, all right, champ? Champ. That word again, they love it, don't they? It's frustrating, isn't it? You're sitting there bursting with ideas while Steve from marketing's getting all the fun projects, and you're thinking, I could crush that if they just gave me a chance. But no, Steve's talking about his dog again, and you're doing the photocopying. Because here's the reality, if you're not being challenged, if your potential's not being used, you're not growing, you're stagnating, mate. And like that Formula One car stuck in the traffic. And let me tell you, no one remembers the car that didn't win the race. So, what's the move? Simple. Stop waiting for permission, start pushing boundaries, even if it ruffles a few feathers. Raise your hand, speak up, and make it impossible for them to ignore you. They might not give you the spotlight, but mate, you can steal it. Remember, you're not stuck, you're just parked. Time to put the pedal down. Lack of recognition, mate. This one stings, doesn't it? You're grafting away, burning the candle at both ends, and what do you get for it? Nothing. Zilch. Meanwhile, Steve, our mate from marketing, who spends half the day talking about his dog, He's getting all the glory. Great job, Steve. You're a real asset to the team, Steve. And you're sitting there like, mate, I practically wrote the presentation for him. But no one notices you, do they? Nah. You're the office wallpaper. Always there, always dependable, but never standing out. It's like you're being in a band where all you're doing is songwriting. And Steve's just there, out there, air guitaring his way in the spotlight. And it's infuriating. And let's be honest, mate, it's not just about ego, it's about feeling valued. You're busting a gut, pulling out all the stops, and at the end of the day, you're still invisible. It's like trying to light a fire with wet matches. You keep striking, but there's no spark. And it's exhausting. You're wondering, why am I even bothering? Half the time, you're working harder than anyone else in the room, and yet no one notices. You're like a ninja in the workplace, silently slaying tasks while everyone else in the room is on a coffee break. But recognition? Nah, that's reserved for the loudest one in the room, which, let's face it, is never you. But here's what you need to understand: recognition isn't just going to fall in your lap. No one's going to suddenly wake up one day and say, you know what, let's give John a round of applause for all his hard work over the last 3 years. Doesn't happen, mate. You've got to make them see you. So, how do you do that? You step up. You get vocal about your contributions. You make sure your name's attached to the work that you do. And don't be shy about it. Be proud. You're smashing it. And it's time they noticed. And if they still don't, well, maybe it's time to find someone that will. Remember, mate, if you don't claim that credit, Steve will. The good old classic burnout, because you're not just tired, mate, you're mentally, physically, and emotionally drained. You wake up, it's Monday morning, and you're already thinking, can I just fake my own disappearance? You're so knackered that the sight of your laptop makes you want to curl up under a ball at your desk. But hey, what's one more deadline, right? And don't get me wrong, this isn't just your standard, oh, I could use a nap tired. This is, I need a 6 month sabbatical on a remote island where no one can find me level tired. Coffee ain't touching it, mate. And at this point, you're running on fumes and possibly regret. Because here's the thing: burnout is like sprinting on a treadmill. You're giving it everything, you're pouring yourself into your work. But guess what? You ain't actually going anywhere. Loads of effort, but zero progress. And before you know it, you're so fried that even the thought of starting your next task feels like someone's asked you to climb Everest in flip flops. No, thank you. Burnout isn't just about working long hours. No, it's about working long hours without getting any reward for it. You're giving 110%, but your career is still stuck in neutral. No recognition, no growth, just endless grind. And the worst part, you've convinced yourself that this is just how it is. This is the job, you tell yourself. Everyone's exhausted. It's a normal. But it's not normal. Not if you're constantly feeling like you've been steamrolled by Friday afternoon and can barely function by Monday morning. It's time to reclaim your time. Say no. Set boundaries. Look, I know it's hard. No one wants to be that guy in the office, but trust me, if you don't start saying no to the stuff that's burning you out, you'll have nothing left to say yes to when the good stuff comes along. And mate, if the burnout's real bad, maybe it's time to stop sprinting on the treadmill and start looking for a new path altogether. One that doesn't leave you feeling like a zombie. Fear of change is a sneaky one, isn't it? You're comfortable where you are, even if it's slowly driving you mad. Because let's be honest, the idea of stepping out into the unknown is, well, is terrifying, isn't it? Change, no thanks. It's like that old ratty armchair you've had for years. Sure, it's got a few rips, maybe a dodgy spring or two, but hey, it's safe, it's familiar. But here's the thing, mate: familiarity is the exact thing that's going to keep you stuck. You're sitting in your comfort zone thinking, well, at least I know what to expect, yeah? But what if you expect the same old misery every Monday? What if you're just waiting around, hoping that one day out of the blue, something will magically change without you lifting a finger? Let me tell you something, and write this down. Nothing changes if nothing changes. There, I said it. Groundbreaking, right? But seriously, if you're not willing to step out of your routine, take a risk, and maybe, just maybe, face a bit of uncertainty, then nothing's going to get better. Your promotion's not going to just fall in your lap. No exciting project's just going to land in your inbox while you're sitting there staring at your email hoping for a miracle. And look, I get it. Change is scary. The unknown, like, oh, what if it's worse than what I've got now? And you're sitting there having the classic panic. What if I fail? What if I fall flat on my face? Well, mate, newsflash, you might fall on your face, but guess what? You're not going to get anywhere without taking a few tumbles first. So here's the deal. It's time to stop letting fear keep you trapped. Start small, no need to quit your job tomorrow and run off to Bali to find yourself, but take that first step, even if it's just applying for a new project or having that awkward conversation with your boss, or even exploring a new opportunity outside your current role. Because staying put in a job that's slowly sucking the life out of you, that's the real risk. And remember, mate, no one grows sitting still. So, what will it be? The ratty armchair or something better? Right, let's run through some of the other classic signs of being well and truly stuck. I'll keep it quick because I don't want to lose you to another tab. So, here we go lightning round. Imposter syndrome. Ah, this is classic. You've been smashing it at work and yet you're sitting there thinking, any day now, they're going to realise I'm a fraud. Newsflash, you're not. But that little voice in your head is holding you back. Cheers, brain. Lack of career direction. You're a jack of all trades, master of none. One minute you're planning to climb the corporate ladder, the next you're Googling how to start an alpaca farm in the Cotswolds. You're all over the shop, mate. No focus, no progress. Micromanagement. Every single move watched. You can't choose a pen without your boss popping up. Just making sure you're using the blue one. How are you supposed to thrive when you're being babysat like a toddler? Overcommitment. Yes, you've said yes to everything, haven't you? Now you're so busy juggling everyone else's tasks, you've completely forgotten about your own goals. You're basically the office butler at this point, at your service, but not getting anywhere fast. Finally, financial anxiety. Yeah, the big one, money. You want to make the move, take the risk, but that little voice in your head again says, what if I can't pay the rent? What if I end up living on beads on toast for the next 5 years? So you stay stuck, safe, but also miserable. Look, mate, if you're ticking any of these off, more than one, I guess it's time for a serious rethink. You're not just stuck, you're cemented in place. But don't worry, because now we've covered the signs, you know what's coming next, how to break free. Let's keep going. So now I've laid it all out, the signs, the struggles, the soul crushing feeling of being stuck. It's all a bit grim, isn't it? But hey, good news. Recognizing that you're in this rut, well, mate, that's the first step of getting out of it. You've just diagnosed the problem. Congratulations, you're ahead of half the population already. Here's the thing though, you can't just stop at that aha, I'm stuck moment. No, no, no. Yeah, it's like getting a map out, finding you're in the middle of nowhere, and they're there thinking, well, I guess I'll just stay lost forever then. Doesn't work like that, mate. You've got to take action. Recognizing it is only half the battle. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. So what's next? Well, now comes the fun part, actually doing something about it. You can't expect your boss to waltz in one day, drop a promotion in your lap and say, surprise, you've been stuck for ages, but here's your ticket out. No, it's not happening. This one's on you. And trust me, it's a lot easier to get unstuck once you realise it's your choice to move forward. It's like driving a car. If you're stuck in neutral, guess what? You've got to shift the gears. The car's not going to do it for you. That's the same with your career. You've got to shift. So take a moment, give yourself a little pat on the back. You've recognised the problem, that's huge. But now it's time to roll up your sleeves and start making some moves. Because, mate, if you don't take control, who will? Let's get unstuck together because it's time. All right, mate, you've stuck with me this far. It means you're serious about making a change. And that's the first win of the day. But we're not stopping there. Oh no, we've got momentum now and it's time to use it. So here's the deal. You're ready to get unstuck, and I've got exactly what you need over at johndaniels.co.uk. And that's John without an H, remember? Yeah, you heard me right. This is where things can get exciting for you. You've got a few options when you go over there. Firstly, if you're still a little bit unsure about what you want and need to test the waters, well, sign up and get a free career audit with me. We'll dig into what's holding you back, and trust me, you'll walk away with some real clarity on what's next. Or maybe you're a bit more of an action taker. Well, if that's you, then you're going to want to jump into my masterclass, 3 Steps to Boost Your Career. It's designed to help you make real moves, not just tweaks. And let's be honest, who doesn't love a good masterclass, eh? And for those of you that are ready to go all in, and I mean really take the reins, then the Reboot Your Career Accelerator program is your ticket. And this isn't for the faint hearted though, it's for those who are serious about turning things around fast. So there you go. Whatever stage you're at, I've got something that will help you take the next step. All you've got to do is head over to johndaniels.co.uk and make the best decision you made all week. Go on, don't be shy. Because remember, nothing changes if you don't take action. So I'll see you over there. All right, we've had a bit of a laugh. We've talked about being stuck and we've covered all the ways to spot it. But now, mate, it's time to make a move. You've listened, you've nodded along, and hopefully had a few aha moments. So, what's next? It's simple, take action. Listen, don't be the person that watches a video, gets all pumped up, and then does nothing, because you're better than that. If you want to break free from career stagnation, if you're tired of the same old routine, then it's time to do something about it. So head over to johndaniels.co.uk right now, take your first step towards getting unstuck. Whether you go for the free career audit, the masterclass, or just dive straight into the accelerator program, the point is just do something, because the only person who could change your career is you. And mate, let me tell you, if you don't act, no one's going to do it for you. Not your boss, not Steve from marketing, not even your mum. It's all on you. So don't wait until next week when Monday dread hits again. Go on, make a great decision for yourself right now. Visit johndaniels.co.uk and start making moves. Because trust me, nothing feels better than getting unstuck and moving forwards. All right, mate, time to take control. See you on the other side.